Good morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Morning, Chair.
I'm checking because all my devices are giving me problems. Am I audible?
You are, Madam Chair.
Am I audible?
You are.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I just received a call from the chair. She says she's trying to communicate with us. It would seem there is a problem with her mic. So she's trying to get IT to sort it out. She has therefore asked that if we do constitute a quorum, I should continue to facilitate the meeting until she joins us, if she'll be able to join us. So I just wanted to find out first if we do have a quorum, and secondly, if members would agree that I continue chairing this meeting. And maybe Tabile can indicate if we do have a quorum.
Yes, we do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure then if members would agree that I carry on chairing the meeting. Honorable members, is it okay if I continue chairing the meeting, or prefer otherwise?
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any dissenting view. Oh, there's the chair. I think she's able to join us now.
Morning, everyone.
Yes, morning. At least they've sorted it out for me.
Thank you, Chair.
Can I start? Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Chair. We are about to start, so yes, you can go ahead because we haven't done anything yet. So you can go ahead, yes.
Let me switch off the other device because they were requesting me to make all of them on. Good morning, members. Honorable members, MEC and your management team, the Provincial Commissioner of Gauteng SAPS and your team, the support staff and media house present. I'm Honorable Alfina Ndlovana, the chairperson of this portfolio committee. Firstly, I want to condemn the unfortunate incident of the shooting that is result to the death of Mr. Thokozile Ntumamba during the student protest at Wits. Our deepest condolences to the family. I trust that the iPad, together with the Office of the Provincial Commissioner, will move speedily with the investigation and ensure that justice prevails. In the recent week, we have received reports and concern of communities being terrorized by gang-related activities which are reported to be perpetuated by the so-called business forums, named Boko Haram, Farasai, and the Al-Qaeda, particularly in MAMELODI and its surrounding areas. The committee condemned this violent behavior and call of the law to take its course. We have also noted that some of the work have been done by your office, Provincial Commissioner, in an effort to address the situation. Thus, the committee saw it necessary that we invite you to this meeting to present a plan to address these acts of criminality, not only focusing in Tshwane, but also prevent such from spreading across the province. I had also noted your apology, Provincial Commissioner, as you must be released early from this meeting to attend the Board of Commissioners meeting with the National Commissioner, running concurrently with this meeting, and we thank you for your brief appearance. The MEC of Community Safety, Honorable Faith Mazibuko, is also invited as the department is expected to present their annual performance report of the 2019-2020 financial year, as well as the third quarter report of the 2020-21 financial year. With this remark, I welcome you all and declare the meeting open. Can we move to apologies?
Chair, may I say something before we move to apologies?
Okay, honorable members, Kanyile.
Chair, I wonder if it is possible, with the news that we've heard this morning about the passing on of the king of the Zultin team, that maybe as a committee we can also observe a moment of silence. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, it's accepted. Can we observe a moment of silence? May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Sox. I nearly forgot that. Can we move to apologies, Comrade Ntabiseng? That meant Ntabiseng?
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, members and everyone present. For today, we do not have any apologies. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank Ntabiseng. The only apology will be the one of the Provincial Commissioner to leave early due to other commitment. Any mover for the apology to be accepted?
I, Dorothea Radebe, Chairperson, good morning. I move for the adoption of the apologies.
Thank you, Member Radebe. Any seconder? I'm handicapped member. The hand is up. Who's raising the hand?
It's Member Bosch.
Member Bosch.
Yes, I will second.
Thank you, Member Bosch, for seconding. Can we move to confirmation of the agenda? Members, honorable members, the agenda is in front of us. Can you flight it for us? The first in the agenda is the opening and welcome. Apologies done in opening. Confirmation of the agenda. Number 4, adoption of the previous minutes dated Thursday, the 4th of March, 2021. Number 5, presentation by the Gauteng SAPS plan to curb gang-related crime. Number 6, the presentation by the Department of Community Safety. 6.1, the annual report of the 2019-2020 financial year. And 6.2, the third quarterly report of the 2020-21 financial year. 7, resolution. 8, NCOP matters. 9, correspondence. 10, other matters. 11, date of the next meeting and adjournment. Can we move for the adoption of the agenda? Any mover? Honorable Kanyile? Member Kanyile?
Chair, I want to ask that maybe we amend the way we have phrased one item, that instead of saying we are receiving the plan to deal with gang violence, maybe we rephrase it that we receive a report on dealing with gang violence. Because, Chair, you remember that our meetings are open to the public, and I don't think that some of the plans by the SAPS should really be, I think such plans are more their internal plans rather than things that can just be made in public, because then it can jeopardize their plans. So my request, Chair, is that we amend that the way we phrase that item. And if we do agree, then I will move for the adoption of the agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, members. There is that proposal that we phrase item number 5 as the report. We receive a report on gang violence. Any support with regard to this? Member Bosch?
I will support Member Kanyile in this. I do think it's important to rephrase it so that the plans are not leaked to everyone or given to everyone.
Thanks, members. The agenda has been adopted, and with the rephrasing of item number 5 as the report received from the Department on Gang Violence. Accepted. Can we now move to agenda point number 5, the presentation by Gauteng SAPS on the gang violence? I'll hand over to the Provincial Commissioner. And Tate Mawela, over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning. Honorable Chairperson, good morning. Honorable members, Honorable MEC, thank you very much for the opportunity for us to can present to the committee the measures we have in place in terms of how we are dealing with all these gang-related criminalities in the province. With me here, I'm seated with the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Crime Detection, Major General Ndlovu, and also the District Commissioner of Tshwane, Major General Mohajane, and our Provincial Head Crime Intelligence, Major General Lekalakala, and Brigadier Bender, who's going to lead us with the presentation. Honorable Chair, honorable members, before I hand over to Brigadier Bender to can lead us with the presentation, let me also assure the committee that we as the SAPS, we have a legal mandate to cooperate with the IPAD, and we have pledged that support to IPAD to say that we are going to cooperate with them so that they speedily finalize the investigation of the case whereby an innocent citizen, Mr. Ntumba, was killed by during the protest of the birth student. Yesterday, we visited the family, myself, accompanying the Minister of Police, General Bekikele, and we have presented our sincere condolences to the family, and also assured the community that we are going to cooperate, will ensure that justice is served. And I've also assured the family to say that I have directed all my police members that they must exercise maximum restraint, especially when they are maintaining the public order in the province. And we also follow other leaders in our community when they call for calm. From my side, I humbly and pleading for calm from all the sectors of our community, and assure them that we are going to cooperate with IPAD and will ensure that justice is served and justice will be seen served for the innocent life which we have lost. And we'll do everything in our power to ensure that continuous training is given to our public order police members so that when they are executing their duties, at the back of their mind, every time when they operate, they mustn't forget about the human rights, which is the cornerstone of our Constitution. With those opening remarks, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members, may I hand over to Brigadier Bender, who's going to lead us with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, PC. Brigadier, over to you. Am I the only one who doesn't hear?
No, Chair, you are not. I was also wondering what's happening.
You are not,
Okay.
Chair.
Okay. Don't.
Chair, I don't think the officer of the PC is aware that we can't hear them, because we can see the slides are moving, but we can't hear him.
Provincial Commissioner? Provincial Commissioner Tatemawel? Ntabiseng, can you consult them?
Overriding material.
Yes, Chair, we are trying to do so.
I'm trying to call them.
Okay.
Good morning, Honorable Chair. We've been informed there's no sound. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you, Chair. I will restart again with the presentation. In terms of the presentation overview, we will look at the purpose of the presentation, the background, our contributing factors that has been identified, mitigating measures that is in place to address our case management and successes achieved, and then in terms of a conclusion. Chair, first of all, the purpose is to of the presentation is to brief the Community Safety Portfolio Committee in the legislature on the plans to address gang-related activities in the Gauteng province, with specific focus also then on the MAMELODI area. In terms of the background, it is identified that the gang-related activities in Gauteng province emerged as a phenomena around 2019. These gang-related criminal activities manifest itself in shootings, extortion, intimidation, killings, as well as organized crime. These activities are also more prevalent in the following areas within the province: Westbury, Eldorado Park, Reiger Park, Bronkhorstspruit, MAMELODI, Toekomsrus, Bekkersdal, and Carltonville. Chair, it is also identified that the overriding motive for gangsterism has been identified as financial gain and power. Looking at the contributing factors, the following were identified as possible factors contributing to the current situation in terms of these criminal activities. Firstly, illegal occupation of hostels and RDP houses. Secondly, the availability of vulnerable people, which include foreign nationals as well as recyclers. Fear to report of community to the police. Alleged corruption in especially tender processes. Licensed and unlicensed firearms. Drugs, and last but not least, illicit business forums. In terms of the mitigating measures in place by SAPS Gauteng, the following are in place to address the threat at hand. First of all, it is an anti-gang strategy with the following focus areas: crime intelligence analysis, crime intelligence collection. In terms of detective environment, it's an effective and efficient investigation of criminal cases. And in terms of our visible policing environment, it is a strategic deployment of our visible policing. This strategy is further driven through the establishment of the anti-gang unit. This unit then is also twofold. One section in terms of detectives fall under the organized crime section, and the other are resorted within the Provincial Operational Command Center. And then the second mitigation measure we will highlight is the Tshwane District Intervention Plan, specifically for the MAMELODI area, Honorable Chair. When you look at the Tshwane District Intervention Plan, it is based on a 5-pillar approach containing the following. The first pillar is intelligence gathering, analysis, and coordination. We've collapsed the second and the third pillar because our closely link is that the proactive as well as the combat approach. The fourth pillar will speak to the reactive approach in terms of investigation. And then the fifth pillar speaks to communication and liaison. In the next two slides, Chair, there's just a short unpacking of these pillars, but not in too much detail. The first one, pillar 1, which speaks to the intelligence gathering, analysis and coordination. Firstly, there it's the identification and profiling of persons of interest, including hotspot areas. The increase of the ground coverage on the identified hotspots. Thirdly, is the dedicated collection capacity to maximize intelligence collection on the threat. Fourthly, is infiltration and neutralization of identified criminal groupings. Then it's the coordination and directing of integrated operational actions. And lastly, in terms of this pillar, is the establishment of a 24-hour hotline, which the number is reflected there as 082 771 1001 for community reporting on these activities. Moving to pillar 2 and pillar 3. Moving to pillar 2 and pillar 3, which is the proactive and combat approach. There's an established team in the area comprising of the following. It's the TRT, our tactical response teams, our visible policing, as well as our public order policing. Thus, responsible for conducting high visibility vehicle and foot patrols at identified hotspots, as well as stop and searching of vehicles suspected to be used by these identified groups. Pillar 4, the reactive approach. There's a dedicated team of appointed investigating officers, which is also supported by a dedicated prosecutor assigned by the National Prosecuting Authority. This team is responsible for the effective crime scene management, docket analysis, tracing of suspects, and opposing of bail where arrests are made, and then also the utilization of the witness protection program where it has deemed necessary. The last pillar of the plan is pillar 5, communication and liaison. Some of the aspects included there is media releases on updated information, our joint public relations and marketing, and awareness campaigns, including the distribution of related pamphlets. Honorable Chair, when we move to the case management, there you can see that's a provincial overview that is provided there, broken down into the different districts and the number of columns. I'm just quickly highlighting the totals that has been reported in terms of these gang-related or criminal-related activities. First, a number of cases reported through all of the districts is 87, of which 64 was for murder, 25 for attempted murder, 16 for robbery aggravating, 29 relating to drugs, 1 relating malicious injury to property, extortion 0, possession of hijacked motor vehicle is 1, pointing of firearms is 4, possession of unlicensed firearm 14, arson 0. A total of arrests were made of 89. Of these 89, 76 cases went to court and 83 convictions were attained. When you look at some of the provincial level successes that have already been attained, in terms of arrest, as I mentioned in the previous slide, a total of 89 arrests were made in 87 reported cases. Of these, there were 83 convictions were attained, with 29 in the West Rand districts, followed by 28 in the Johannesburg district. The convictions attained resulted in the following sentences. There was 3 for murder, with 4 life sentences, 1 for murder and robbery, with 2 life sentences, 1 conviction with murder with 40 years imprisonment, 1 conviction for possession of unlicensed firearm with 15 years imprisonment, 2 convictions for house robbery with 25 years imprisonment, and 2 convictions for the first one was business robbery. Lastly, then 2 for house robbery with 45 years imprisonment. Further, in terms of the provincial level successes, arrests made by the dedicated team relating to the illicit business forum activities. First of all, there were 307 suspects arrested in 360 reported cases, and so far 14 convictions have already been obtained in these cases that went to court. The following recoveries or seizures were attained by the anti-gang unit: 9 hijacked vehicles which were recovered, 5 stolen vehicles were recovered, some explosives were recovered, drugs were recovered which included cat, cocaine and mandrax, as well as 25 firearms. Moving specifically to the MAMELODI area, in terms of the case management, 14 cases were reported. Of which 1 is attempted murder, 7 robbery aggravating, 1 dealing in drugs, 1 for malicious injury to property, 1 for extortion, 1 for possession of firearm, 1 for fraud, 1 for arson. A total of 5 arrests has been made, 3 cases went to court, and so far 1 conviction has been attained. In terms of specifically the successes pertaining to the MAMELODI area, the following confiscations were attained in the MAMELODI area: 1 pistol, 1 Mercedes-Benz vehicle which was previously stolen were recovered, 38 Ziploc bags containing cat, and 10 mandrax tablets. And then, although a number of prominent gang members were arrested within the MAMELODI area, Chair, these cases were withdrawn in court by the complainant. And then, Chair, in conclusion, the Gauteng SAPS management remains focused and dedicated to ensure the successful implementation of the mitigating measures highlighted in this presentation in our relentless pursuit to ensure the safety and security of all the citizens in the province. And with that, I thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chairperson, thank you very much for the opportunity. That is our submission. We have tried to put it at the highest level. Reason being, the area which we are dealing with is quite a sensitive area. And some of the cases, they are currently in the sensitive stage, whereby we don't want to share more information about how far are we, what are we dealing with specific cases and so forth. But we are hard at work, and definitely the cooperation which we are getting, especially in the MAMELODI area, the community since our last visit to MAMELODI, they are coming forth with information, they are giving statements, and some of the suspects arrested yesterday, they appeared in court. Again, bail was not given to them. The case is postponed for another day. Clearly, it shows that we are on the right track. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and members, for the opportunity.
Thanks, Provincial Commissioner and Brigadier Benden. Honorable members, I'll take hands for questions and input and point of clarification. I've noted on Member Shackleton, Member Hoffman, Member Khadebe, in that order.
Thank you, Chairperson. Through you, I'd like to thank the Provincial Police Commissioner and yourself for this opportunity. I'd like to thank the police for the efforts that they are making in tackling gangsterism in the province. I think what we have seen specifically in this MAMELODI issue is that working together, when members of the legislature do push issues to the Provincial Police Commissioner, that things do happen. And I think that is a great incentive, and it's something we can really show to the people of Gauteng, that are working together. We are really trying to resolve crime, and that efforts are being made. I'd just like to say, or really, just to mention and perhaps get the Provincial Police Commissioner's comments, that I've been informed that there are Boko Haram-like things taking place elsewhere across Tshwane. So you have in Ward 55, the city of Tshwane, which is Pretoria West, there are reports of projects being taken over there. And the rumors are that if you look at the people that are arrested, those are the same members as belong to Boko Haram from MAMELODI. We get reports that in Roslyn, people that are private businesses and spaza shops are forced to pay bribes, which is the same thing happening to spaza shops in MAMELODI due to Boko Haram. And private businesses have been laying off people in Roslyn and using technological equipment because they can no longer afford to pay their employees because of the bribes that they do pay. So I would just like to add that that we are glad for what is taking place in MAMELODI, but either at the very least the same modus operandi is happening throughout Tshwane, and allegedly it could be the same people being involved in these activities. And we'd just like to get the comments from the Provincial Police Commissioner if him and his police force is aware of this taking place, and if there are ongoing measures in this regard. Thank you so much, Chairperson, for listening to me and for arranging this meeting and for inviting these attendees. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Member Hoffman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the members of SAPS, the Lieutenant General Owela for his presentation and for his people presenting here. I think gangsterism in South Africa is a big problem. I think Gauteng is not the only one or only province that has this problem, but I do think that we'll see a uprising in gangs in Gauteng as economic circumstances decline. I've got a few questions. I think that it is important that we identify which gangs are operating in Gauteng, and to get maybe a list of these gangs operating. Also looking at awareness under people in which gang or in what gangs are operating, shine the light on them so that people know who these gangs are and what their operating circumstances are. Further to that, Madam Chair, there is a lot of allegations flying around that the police, and I've spoken to a lot of officers as well, that there's a problem within the SAPS with regards to infiltration by gangs or guys that from the gangs that's got connection to police officers. I think there's also, again, we have to look at police officers that might have criminal records so that we can see that all the work that that has been done with regards to gangs, that it is not undone by members in the police that might be working or might be connected to these gangs. And would I really ask that I see that we've got a specialized unit, but that we look at police officers, or that we involve IPID in looking at police officers that is involved with gangs, connected with gangs, or are working with gangs to undermine what the general is doing here. The last question that I have is the capacity of IPID within Gauteng. At one stage, it was said that there's about 12 officers. I've worked with them well with regards to the Douglasdale police station, and we had no feedback on that incident, where also the problem was corrupt police officers. I do not think that IPID in Gauteng has the capacity to handle extra workload. So my question would be then, will they look at supporting IPID to get more members in, actually get them vehicles to get where they need to be? The IPID members that I talked to also said they do not have any data on their phones to phone and stuff like that. So they just don't have the resources. That will be my final input, is that we have to assist these IPID members also for them to do their jobs. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Member Hoffman. Member Bosch.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. There's just a couple of things that I want to add to my colleague, Member Shackleton. What he mentioned about modus operandi going on in the rest of Tshwane. There's also another area that has been quite targeted quite a lot, and that is the Bronkhorstspruit area, which I think the police commissioner just needs to take note of. And then I want to just ask with regards to the stats that was shown on the presentation. On the one slide where the different municipalities was mentioned, or the different districts, there was a total of, I think, 13 for Tshwane, but then on the very next page or slide, he then speaks of 14 cases for MAMELODI. I just want confirmation that, obviously these two figures are different, but the cases that is mentioned for Tshwane, is that everything apart from MAMELODI, or does that make reference to MAMELODI as well? And then secondly, has there been a comparison between the cases for the rest of Tshwane and the cases reported for MAMELODI, to see if there's any corresponding links between these cases, to identify, the situation and, collaborative efforts between these gangs and things in the rest of Tshwane, and whether there's any, corresponding factors. And then I just want to find out as well, in one of the slides, there was mentioned that the complaint withdrew the case as it went to court. So I would like to inquire about, is there a victim or witness or complainant protection program? And is there a way that we can engage these complainants as to why the cases are withdrawn? From the stories and discussions we had with community members on the ground, especially in MAMELODI, there's a lot of intimidation that goes on, and life threats to members in the community who have lodged complaints before, and it's through this intimidation that cases gets withdrawn. So I think that, as a committee and the police itself with this task team to address gangsterism needs to look into these cases that gets withdrawn, and how do we protect the witnesses and the complainants so that they don't actually withdraw the case, so that we can get to a point where someone is convicted. And then lastly, just what Member Hoffman mentioned with regards to corrupt police officers. We unfortunately find that everywhere. I don't think it's everyone, but I would like to find out, is there no possibility of reshuffling police stations, moving people around, especially in areas where we've identified that there is a lot of corruption going on, you know, and where you know, evidence is lost, or cases that continuously say insufficient evidence, such as in the MAMELODI stations, that we take some of the members at that police station and shuffle them around to other police stations to see if we can't in such a way either identify the corrupt police officers or counter the corruption in that specific station. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Member Hoffman. Before Provincial Commissioner, you come in, I just want clarity, Provincial Commissioner. I know I was working with you. I think if you remember the case here, Vos, I was the one who was leading the delegation of the councillors in our secret meeting, Provincial Commissioner. I just want to find out this issue of, because from my analysis, I realized that most of the police are fearing these gangsters. How are we addressing it? I know those people are very, very dangerous in somehow. How are we addressing it, Commissioner? Do we have something like a briefing for the police who are working around those areas which have been targeted, like MAMELODI? I'm staying in MAMELODI, Provincial Commissioner, you are aware. I just want to find out that how are we addressing it, because whether we like it or not, police subs people are also, they are also human like us, because somewhere, somehow, they might intimidate them. How are we addressing it? Even if it cannot be presented today, but the Provincial Commissioner, you can just highlight it to us. And then I want to find out the other thing. I'm convinced in terms of tackling the gangsterism in Tshwane, particularly in those areas, especially in MAMELODI. What about how far is the progress of the issue of attrition? Because is in another form of a quantum, and also it raises an issue of race with regards to the way they are doing things. There is a group called Amazulu. Provincial Commissioner, how far is the progress with regard to that? The one of the Beggersdal, unfortunately, I was in Beggersdal yesterday attending some of the issues of the government. I'm happy the way the matter is resolved. Then I'll pause there, Commissioner. Over to you.
No, Chairperson, you forgot me.
Sorry, Member Hadebe.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Chair. PC, Chairperson just mentioned something of saying the police officers are afraid of the gangsterism type of a thing. But the police, my point is, the police are not fear to shoot the student. It's really puzzling me on how they are doing their job. And PC, my question will be, they're following the brutality killing of Thokozile Ntumba. What stage has the subs take against the guilty police officer? And how is the force planning to deal with the unwarranted policy brutality against the student and the student movement? Thank you, Chair.
Are you done, Member Hadebe?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I will firstly ask General Ndlovu to talk to other questions, and then I'll come again. Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. I will respond to the questions that were directed to the detectives. The first one was the witness program. We have the witness program in place. Whenever we have a witness that is being intimidated, we are able to take a witness for protection where he is going to be kept there until we finalize the investigation. So we are encouraging all the witnesses to come forward and give us information. We will be taking them to the witness protection. The second question was concerning the withdrawal of cases. We checked what was the reason for the withdrawal of those cases as per MAMELODI cases. We found that the complainants or the witnesses were paid some money by the suspect. Then they went to court and withdraw the cases. The last one will be the different cases in our what's name on page 15, where Tswane was having 12 cases. Those cases are excluding MAMELODI cases. We put the MAMELODI cases on one slide, which is 14 cases. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Let me continue. I'll start with the last one asked by Honorable Member Kadebe regarding how far are we regarding the unfortunate incident of the shooting of Mr. Ntumba, and how far are we in terms of dealing with the responsible members. Thus far, IPT is hard at work, is investigating. Upon finalizing their investigation, they are going to submit a report with recommendation to my office, whereby they will put some recommendation whether to charge these members departmentally or otherwise. So they have promised me to say that sometimes next week they will be in the position to can submit a report to my office. Today is the day whereby the postmortem will be conducted, and then the ballistic of the firearms will be finalized sometimes next week. And then they will be in the position to can give us the report. And then moving forward to the issue of Atteridgeville as raised by the chairperson. Yes, Atteridgeville is one of the area whereby we have seen that tribalism it's rearing its ugly head there. And the district commissioner, in a small way, she has already started to put together the small teams so that they support the station commander and suppress these things before it becomes uncontrollable. And going to the issue of members who are compromised, especially those who are afraid of the gangsters. We do take note of that, Chairperson, and in the normal circumstances, members who compromise themselves, who allow themselves to be in the pockets of the criminals, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to can act on those ones. But the measures we have put in place is that we do have task teams established, some not operating at district level, but operating at provincial level to support the district. And at the district level, the district commissioner will establish a task team to support it, so that we ensure that members who are dealing with those cases are not members who on day-to-day coming into contact with those people who are investigated. So this is how we are dealing with those ones. Going back to the issue of Brongo Spray by Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Member Bosch, yes, we are aware of the modus operandi used in Brongo Spray, and the task team established, it's also investigating those cases. And the investigation is in an advanced stage. We are doing very well there. And we are also getting a very good cooperation from the witnesses, from the complainants, and everybody who have the information about those activities which are happening in Brongo Spray. And Member Bosch also made mention of the activities which are happening in the broader Tswane. Yes, we are aware of what is happening, especially the projects and so forth which are happening. That is why we have a team which is dealing with this illicit business forum. So that team is focusing on those cases, and the figures which we have given there of the number of cases open, number of successes, suspect arrested, it also includes those incidents. And going to the question raised by Member Hoffman, firstly regarding the capacity of IPAD, it's outside my jurisdiction. I'm unable to can answer on their behalf about their capacity and everything which they are using to fight crime. What I can assure the committee is that we as the SAPS, we fully cooperate with IPAD. Anything they want from us, we ensure that it is given. Coming to the SAPS members who are colluding or colluding with the gangs, we do have measures in place from the crime intelligence. That is the countermeasures. They put countermeasures in all these teams which we have identified, the units which are dealing with sensitive cases, so that time and again they must check their lifestyle audit. They must check how are they dealing with their cases. Are they compromised or are they not compromised? And should any evidence come to light to say that these members are compromised, surely they are removed from the task team, and automatically those who are investigating corruption against the police, they get into action and deal with those ones. It is true, gangsterism is nationwide. We are not the only one having a challenge with gangsterism, and that is why the department have put together this anti-gangsterism strategy to can deal with that. And going to the matter raised by Honorable Member Shackleton about the Pretoria West, the Roslyn, and the modus operandis which are happening there. Yes, we are aware. And then the team which is established by General Ndlovu to deal with these things, it is hard at work to ensure that these issues are addressed. And we appreciate the assistance which the leadership is assisting us with, encouraging the community to can report these cases, and any information which come to your attention, it will be appreciated if it is brought to our attention so that we can immediately follow it through. I thank you very much, Co-Chairperson. I don't know whether there is anything which I've left out. General, let me check. You're fine. General, you're fine. That's my submission, Honorable Chairperson.
Thanks, Provincial Commissioner, and your team in the presentation and the response on the issues which are raised by the members. I hope we will continue working with you in terms of the issues of gangsterism, just sharing some of the challenges which communities are experiencing. Thanks for your presentation, and you are released with your team, Provincial Commissioner. You can go and join your other team. Is there any hand?
Madam Chair.
Who's that one?
It's Member Hoffman, sorry.
Okay, Member Hoffman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that PC there's just one last thing that I alluded to that we might have missed, or I might have missed, is what gangs are operating in Gauteng, and do they have a list of these gangs that is operating, as well as insignia or anything that relates to these gangs, so that we know what and who we are dealing with. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Member Hoffman. Provincial Commissioner, I hope you do have the list. Can you respond on that?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. I'm sorry that I've missed that one, but I'll quickly list the top seven which we have in the province. We have the Varados in Sophia Town. We have Marashia who are operating in Bakersdal, mostly the Lesotho citizens. Forkville Kutong, we have the Cheese Boy family. We also have the Delta. In Recher Park, we have the Sour Boy Serpent. And we also have some of the gangs which are operating from the prisons in Gauteng. So some of the emerging gangs which already the chairperson have made mention of, your Boko Haram, your Farasei, the Al-Qaedas. These are some of the groups we are having. We are also having the Peres. So there are many. Some they are dying along the way, some they are coming stronger and so forth. But we continue to neutralize them. Thanks, Chairman.
Thanks, Provincial Commissioner. Yeah, thanks for attending, and you are released so that you return to your work. We will continue communicating with you on some of the issues. Thanks, Provincial Commissioner. You are released.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson and honorable members. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Members, can we proceed with our meeting? We are now in number 6. The presentation by the Department of Community Safety, the annual report of the 2019-20 financial year. I'll request the MEC to present. Before the MEC present, I'm requesting all the members, can you please lower down your hands? We are done. All members, can you lower your hands? MEC Mazibugo.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to the members, and truly appreciated the opportunity to be able to present the annual performance report to the committee. Earlier on, when we were dealing with the gangsterism, there was a question from member Hoffman on IPID. I wish to indicate, Chair, that we also have held a meeting with IPID, and they did raise their challenges of capacity, which I believe majority of them needs to be resolved by the Minister for Police, Minister Cele, because they report directly to him. Of course, they were also requesting our help in also being able to reach to all the communities, because they're only situated in Pretoria and in Johannesburg. So we had committed space within our facilities at corridors to also afford them a space for them to be able to work from. That way they'll be able to be closer to the people and be able to attend to all the cases that are being reported to them. So Bengithi, let me also share that information with the members. And even their budget has been cut, Chair. Like all departments, their budgets have been cut. So as much as members may be anxious to say they don't have capacity or and they can't investigate, is true, but you can't also take police to go and investigate other police. So it means they have to get separate investigators, and they are the ones that are able to get to the bottom of it. Just like in the Office of the Public Protector, advocate, Baloi, advocate, Winnie, all those people. So they are the ones that actually end up being the investigators. Without any waste of time, let me allow the acting HOD, Sipho, to present our annual performance report. Sipho, are you in?
Yes, I'm in. Good morning, MEC.
Yes, I don't know who's flighting chair. Is it from your side, Oban?
Tabile.
Chair, it's easier if they flight from their side, the presenter. Thank you.
Okay, so, MEC, they can flight from their side.
Tabile, please do that for me. Tabile, you can flight what we have now.
Loadani Sipo, bani atafanya load. Severeto, loader.
Zaloda MEC besithi kumele uthebeleze okay let me start by greeting the chairperson and the members of the portfolio committee. Good morning, MEC, once again, and good morning to the colleagues and the support staff in the portfolio committee. I'm going to take the portfolio committee through the performance report of 2019-2020 from the Department of Community Safety. On this slide, Chairperson, we are just showing the highlights of the work that we have done. The first thing that I think on our slide is that we intensified our efforts to ensure a safer environment for Gauteng citizens and also ensure that internal controls and governance in the department are improved. With regard to safer environment, we continued with our initiatives to heighten community participation in crime prevention. To this end, we relaunched the Take Charge campaign. We conducted Reclaiming the Night campaigns because women must feel safe when they walk at night. So those two campaigns were relaunched and we put a lot of energy and effort into making sure that we take them to the next level. We also ensure that crime prevention and safety promotion initiatives are relevant and grounded on actual data. So we had what we call safety summits in all corridors because we needed to get information, really quality data and data that we could use to fight crime and use credible information. So these summits provided a platform for communities to engage on safety challenges and contribute towards the solution to the problems that we're facing in their local localities. We also acknowledge the increase in violent crimes incidents in schools. So more initiatives were undertaken in schools, resulting in the department exceeding its target on this work of school safety. While we endeavor to reach out all schools in the province, efforts were made and we really focus on what we call problematic schools. This is an internal terminology that we use so that we are able to describe the schools that we're working with. GBVF remains a challenge in the province and in the country, and it is for this reason that more support services were provided to victims. A total of 1,600 ghost dockets were analyzed. This is a project that assists us in analyzing and identifying dockets that need extra support or dockets that we think are were withdrawn without the specific or proper reasons, and then we try and resuscitate those dockets or give them extra support. We are also making inroads in the institutions of higher learning because we are re-establishing or we re-established our GBV programs in institutions of higher learning. Through the youth desk, we continue to mobilize our youth. Next slide. Through crime prevention and Okaimola operations, I think most people would know the success of Okaimola across the province. More than 400 arrests were made across the province. On reduction of road fatalities, we've seen a significant decrease during the period under review, while 5% there was a decrease in fatal crashes and fatalities, and 6% was a decrease in crashes. We continue to monitor the performance of the police in all the stations, and we've had 6 JIP sessions held with 40 priority stations. Chairperson, we prioritize stations every year, and in that year we had the year under review we had prioritized 40 stations, and we took them under through a JIP sessions. JIP sessions for us is just an intensive oversight project that we put stations that are struggling in just to improve their performance. From the audit process by AG, I think we are happy to announce that no materials findings were raised on the usefulness and reliability of the reported performance in the department. And the department received an unqualified audit with significant improvement compared to the previous years. This, I can say, Chairperson, is the first time that the department received an unqualified audit. Next slide. Next slide. Chairperson, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this specific area, but safe to say that our departmental performance, our departmental performance was 84%. Next slide. On this slide, Chairperson, is just a show of different programs. Program 1 performed 100%. Program 2, which is our provincial secretariat, 99% of its budget was used. Program 1, 100% of the budget was used. Program 3, 97% of the budget was used. Next slide. These are the targets that we exceeded. In Program 1, the estimated revenue that we were hoping to collect, we exceeded that target. There was also a positive media, I think, statements that we were supposed to be producing. We exceeded that target. Number of dockets that we were supposed to analyze, we exceeded that target. And the rest of them, I think, number of GBV closed dockets we were supposed to analyze, we exceeded that target. Under Program 3, if I can note on 1 or 2, number of roadside checkpoints operations conducted, we exceeded that target. Number of road safety awareness programs conducted, we exceeded that target. Next slide. In terms of the targets that we achieved from the HOD's office, the performance plan, which we were supposed to develop, was done. The quarterly report submitted on time to oversight bodies. In terms of the CFO's office, if I can take 1 or 2 bullets there, the annual budget was compiled, aligned to strategic objectives, and submitted to the relevant treasurer within the stipulated time. The percentage of planned procurement implemented through the open tenders under CSS, if I can also pick 1 or 2, the percentage of representation of women at SMS level, we achieved that target. The communication strategy was developed and implemented. It took us some time, but I think it was done and implemented. And then we were able to do number of and analyze reports on the departmental litigation. Next slide. I'm just picking 1 or 2 that I think outstanding out there. In terms of the policy and research, the number of research reports on policing per year, we achieved that. Under monitoring and evaluation, law enforcement performance monitored. Number of monitoring reports were compiled on the implementation of IP, the recommendations by SAPS. We do work with IP. We follow up on their recommendations and check whether SAPS is implementing those recommendations. Chairperson, under safety promotion, family justice support services, we continued and rendered to gender-based violence. We achieved that target. Community police relations, the number of CPFs that were assessed on their functionality. Every year we must check their functionality of CPFs, and we achieved that target in the year under review. Next slide. Next slide.
Targets not achieved, chairperson, percentage of staff disciplined within the 90 days from the date of the case reported. This part of the challenge is that some of the investigations are not within our control. They are outside of the department. They are done by other agencies. So sometimes it takes us longer to finish them in 90 days, but we are working very hard now in this financial year to improve on this matter. If I can pick another one, percentage reduction in irregular expenditure. Chairperson, we've had irregular expenditure, I think, over the years that is accumulating, and we had planned to reduce that irregular expenditure in the last financial year. We did not achieve that target. We're hoping this year, in this financial year, with the measures that we've put in place, we'll be able to reduce the irregular expenditure, because we've done what we were supposed to do and apply to the relevant authorities to assist us in reducing our irregular expenditure. The number of CSFs assessed on functionality. Chairperson, the CSFs, because key to the establishment is dependent on the municipalities. So we assess them once the municipalities have created them or established them, and they need a council resolution to do that. And I think we had challenges in Tshwane and in two other municipalities where the CSFs were not established through council resolutions, and we could not do the assessments. So it depends on municipalities. Once they establish, we are able to do their assessment. It might be the same challenge this year. We still do not have a council resolution in one municipality in this province. So this is probably going to be a challenge continuously until all the municipalities have established the CSFs internally. The number of research seminars conducted, we did not achieve this target. Next slide. In terms of financial performance, the department had planned through the various means that it uses to collect 35 million in the year under review, but we were only able to collect 34 million, 4% projected increase from the previous year though. So it was still an increase, but I think we did not reach the projected collection that we had hoped for the financial year. The actual collection was 41 million as opposed to 43 million from the previous year, representing a decrease of 4% decrease in revenue collection. This is mainly attributable to the potential revenue related to SANRAL tied in receivables. So we have a relationship and MOU with SANRAL. We do work for them. They pay us, and I think that affected our collection in the year under review. Next slide. In terms of the audit committee report, I had spoken on the audit committee report and the outcome, but just on one or two bullet points here. The audit committee is satisfied that the department has adhered to the provisions of the GBG audit committee charter in relation to ensuring that there's proper representation for the accounting officer or the work that we do. The audit committee will continue to monitor the work that we do and resources allocated to the internal audit function. Next slide. The Auditor General, I think this is the report that the financial year end report. The financial statements were presented fairly in all material respects. The financial position in the Gauteng Department of Community Safety as at 30 March 2020. And the department incurred material impairments of 383 million. The department is a defendant in various lawsuits, in law disputes, which affects our our liability as a department. Movable assets 3 million. But like I said in the beginning when I started, the AG did not identify any material findings on our compliance with specific matters in key legislation in the general notice issued by the in terms of PAA. Next slide. The department has embarked on recruitment drive to ensure that the vacancy rate is below the 10% threshold. Bias is towards the people living with disabilities in the recruitment drive, and some targets were impacted by the lockdown and have been implemented in the current financial year. I think this is our last slide. Chairperson, thank you very much. I will stop there.
Thanks, HOD. Then we will request you to go to the third quarter report of the 2020-21 financial year, and the members will ask the questions based on the two reports after they've been presented. MEC?
Sipho, get to the next quarter.
Chair, may I make a different proposal?
Member Kanyile?
Yeah, Chair, I would like to request that maybe because these are reports of two different periods or times, that maybe we ask them to respond to our questions which we asked related to the 2019-20 financial year, because we did ask questions, and that then we then see if that is done properly before we move to the third quarter. My worry is that we might miss the key issues that have to do with the annual report. But if members feel differently, then it's fine. But I thought that that would be the better way to handle it. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, members. Member Kanyile is raising a motion that we deal with the first one and check whether the questions have been answered before we move to the third quarter report. Do we agree, members? Members?
Yes, member, Chairperson, yes, I second.
Who's seconding?
It's Member Mhlagaza.
Okay, Member Mhlagaza. We'll do in that. Can I take hands for questions, inputs, clarifications?
Sorry, Chair. I was saying that as a committee, when we looked at
the questions which have been sent. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Can we request the department to present the questions which have been sent to them?
Thanks, Chairperson. Can I request Tabilo to flag them? And ask Daxita to take us through the questions. She's faster than me. She's quicker than me. Please, Daxita. No, the questions, not the quarterly performance report.
Thank you, HOD. Morning, MEC, Chairperson of the committee and members of the committee and colleagues from Community Safety. I'm just going to wait for the presentation to be flighted. Thank you.
Thank you. Tabile, are you assisting?
I am trying to chair. It might take a while. My laptop is very small at the department flight from their side.
Nana or Tabile, please flight.
I think Nana will do that, HOD. I don't have them on my side.
Is Nana winning, HOD?
I'm trying, Chair. It's also a bit of a struggle. I'm trying.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for flighting the presentation. The first question is, the committee notes the Auditor General raised a matter that the department was a defendant in litigation and labour disputes. The committee wants to know the outcome of the cases. Furthermore, the committee wants to know how plans are in place to avoid such in the future. The responses: the following matters have been finalized. 1. Eviction case struck off the court roll in favor of the department in an urgent application for eviction. 2. Criminal case withdrawn after parties having reached an out-of-court settlement agreement. 3. Labour court case has been withdrawn. Parties followed the alternative dispute resolution processes. 4. Labour court case matter withdrawn against the department after the department made submissions that it was the incorrect authority to grant the relief sought by the applicants. 5. MVA case based on a damage to motor vehicle. Plaintiff claimed 26,212 rand and 92 cents. Matter settled out of court for 10,727 rand and 96 cents as full and final settlement. 6. Motor vehicle case based on a damage to motor vehicle. Plaintiff claimed 18,150 rand and 49 cents. Matter settled out of court for 18,149 cents as full and final settlement. 7. Motor vehicle case based on a damage to motor vehicle. Plaintiff claimed 10,980 rand and 84 cents. Matter settled out of court for 10,980 and 84 cents as full and final settlement. 8. Motor vehicle case based on a damage to motor vehicle. Plaintiff claimed 39,811 rand and 15 cents. Matter settled out of court for 22,836 rand and 71 cents as full and final settlement. The rest of the matters are still before the court and are not yet finalized. The next part of the answer: the department has put the following measures to manage its litigation. 1. Early merit assessment. This process allows the department to assess whether to settle a matter through the alternative dispute resolution process or to proceed to court to defend the case based on the merits. In utilizing the ADR process, the department can save on the capital amount claimed by the litigants and on legal costs. Secondly, conducting awareness sessions. The conducting of awareness sessions seeks to ensure that the employees of the department act within the prescribed legislation and to reduce civil claims against the department. 3. Application consequence management policy. In cases where the employees commit a misconduct, the above policy is applied to ensure discipline is upheld within the department. 4. Application of Treasury Regulation 12.2. In cases of misconduct where the department has suffered financial loss, the department applies Treasury Regulation 12.2 in recovering the financial loss. The rest of the matters are still before the court and are not yet finalized. Second question, the committee requests the department to furnish it with audit action plan. Please refer to Annexure A. 3. The committee acknowledges that the vacancy rate is 16% at the end of the financial year, which is above the 10% threshold of the approved structure. The committee wants details on progress in filling vacant posts. The response, implementation of recruitment plan on progress. Firstly, 146 posts have been created on Parcel to improve service delivery in the department. There is a huge progress on filling of vacant and funded posts. See vacancy rate per quarter in 2021 financial year. Chairperson, I don't know if you want me to go through the grid. Quarter 1, established 1422, filled 1182, vacant 240, that is 17%. Quarter 2, 1565 established, filled 1171, vacant 394, 25%. Quarter 3, 1568 established, filled 1315, vacant 253, percentage is 16%. And fourth quarter, the manual rate as at the 1st of March 2021, 1568 established, filled is 1342, vacant is 226, and the percentage is 14%. Progress in filling vacant posts. If you can scroll down, please. In terms of 8 interviews conducted, 30 scheduled for interviews, 44 scheduled for shortlisting, 1 advert closed 5th March 2021, 143 recruitment plan to advertise is approved. Question 4. The committee notes that there were 4 precautionary suspensions for the year under review. The committee requests information on the status of those cases. Are the cases finalized? If so, what is the outcome? The response, the precautionary suspensions were uplifted. No investigation reports received from risk management yet to implement elements of misconduct, if any, on the cases. Question 5. The department reports that it audited 1,300 dockets, and some of the general findings emanating from the audit are as follows. 1. Feedback pro forma not included in the dockets. 2. Stolen property not circulated. 3. Premature closure of dockets. 4. List of stolen property not included in the docket. 5. Investigating officers not complying with issued instructions. 6. Witness statements not obtained. 7. Informers not tasked. 8. Commander not making follow-ups on instructions issued. The response, the findings of docket audits are communicated to the station commander, branch commander, and SAPS province, and the DPC crime detection. Due to the department citing case numbers for dockets closed as undetected, the DPC crime detections team collects those dockets and evaluates them. They examine the shortcomings identified, and when they go to the police stations, the team goes to the SAP6 store monthly or quarterly. The dockets are then reopened and arrests made. SAPS has indicated that many arrests have been made because of the department undertaking docket audits on cases closed as undetected. Then, further on the same question, I've answered that part just now, thank you. Question 6. Under monitoring and evaluation, the committee notes that the department monitored all 142 stations and that there's been an improvement in the 40 worst performing police stations, except for Acacia, Dobsonville, Ivory Park, Langlaagte, and Kempton Park. The committee wants to know in which areas have those police stations that improved is the improvement in. Furthermore, the committee wants to know what interventions are put in place to address the challenges within those police stations that showed no improvement. The response, a JIP session was held in September 2020 and best practices were identified at Midrand, which was about recruitment of informers and deployment of resources, Langlaagte, Moffat View in particular, in innovative ideas in the absence of crime prevention unit, Duduza, detection rate with other stations, and its model on the crime prevention task team, and at Ridgeville, management of informers, to name a few. Where there was no improvement, the stations were advised to review their current intervention plans, improve detective performance on the detection rate, intensify their plan with a special focus on contact crimes, trio, as well as property-related crimes, improve on the recruitment of informers. All members, both detectives and VISPOL, must improve on the recruitment of informers, improve on crime prevention, liaise with SAPS province on the resourcing of under-resourced police stations. SAPS province is appraised of the challenges and successes, but it is required to take action. 7. The committee notes that 6 green doors were resuscitated. The committee therefore seeks a detailed report on the status of each green door since their resuscitation. The response: the 6 green doors have been supported by providing basic training to the ambassadors, that is, report writing, skills on customer care, and referral matrix. The green doors have also been branded through the installation of signage that also supports the marketing of services. Question 8. The department notes the concern that there is a regress in terms of road fatalities. The committee therefore wants to know how is the department planning to address this challenge. The response: GLEAF Fatality Priority Committee meets to discuss road user behavior and draft law enforcement operational plan for a specific period to address the identified hazardous locations. Road inspections are conducted on regular basis on where the infrastructure contributes to fatal accidents, and recommendations are sent to Department of Transport or SANRA. Road worthiness tests are conducted to ensure vehicles are roadworthy and would not contribute to road fatalities. That then concludes those questions there, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thanks, Daxita. MEC?
No, I think we can await from the committee their questions, follow-up questions.
Yes,
but Chair must input that we're having challenges of pounds that have been closed by Department of Roads and Transport, such that no vehicles are being impounded. That's why you see taxi drivers doing as they please on the roads. They know quite well that their cars are not going to be impounded. That's another challenge that makes our officers not to be able to perform at their maximum. Thank you. And taxi violence is one matter that continues to influence our communities. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks, MEC and the HOD members. Are there any further questions related to what has been presented to us? I'll take hands if there are any. Honorable members, are there any further questions?
Not on my side, Chair. No.
We don't have, Chair.
We don't have. Okay, thanks. We are closing it. Can we move to the second presentation, the third quarter report of the 2020-21 financial year? MEC?
Acting HOD, can you kindly load the come again? Thank you.
Thanks, MEC. Our report is divided into 2 as a load. Donald?
Wat soveel nonsens kan vat, kan hanteer, kan uitsorteer. En kan glimlag daar deur. Hallo, gaan dit?
Please load the quota report in the meantime. As a load, Chairperson, our report is divided into 2, which is the first part, which is the financial report and the annual performance, the quarter performance report. I'm going to request the Tshebeletso to take us through the presentation. Tshebeletso is our Director Strategy in the department. Tshebeletso.
Thank you, HOD. For this reporting period, we actually had a target of 44 for the annual year, but for the quarter we had 39, and the department achieved 36 of those, which then translated to 92% in terms of performance. For Program 1, the performance for the quarter was 89%, Program 2, 76%, with Program 3 at 100%. The vacancy rate was at 17% at the time of reporting, and 184 employees were appointed during this quarter, and 4 exit interviews conducted, with 105 interns appointed. In the next slide, this is basically just the table indicating the performance that we have just spoken about earlier on. We can go on to the next slide. This is a graph. Just shows the total targets that we have set and what has been achieved and what has not been achieved. So in terms of Program 1, I mean, if we look at the quarters, in quarter 1, we had 25 total targets that we had set ourselves. We managed to achieve 24 and 1 not achieved. In quarter 2, we had planned 36 and 30 were achieved, 6 not achieved. In quarter 3, we then had 36 with 31 achieved and 5 not achieved. The next slide. This is just to present the performance to date, to say in total for the annual year, we have 44 targets, and to date, we have achieved 35. 3 are partially achieved, with 6 not achieved as yet. The next slide. So in Program 1, the number of targets that we had for the quarter was 4, and all of those have been achieved. The next slide. So basically, this relates to the executive support and the enterprise risk management. In relation to the intergovernmental relations plan, we have achieved the target. The integrity management plan, we continued to implement that, and a report has been compiled in that space. The quarterly report we have done on the risk management strategy, and we have a quarterly dashboard report that we have produced. The next slide. In the Office of the CFO, we had 5 targets. We managed to achieve 4 and 1 not achieved. Next slide. The target around percentage of invoices paid within 30 days is the target that we only performed at 98%. Whereas the target that we had set was 100%, and we are continuing to send reminders to ensure that the employees who are responsible for submitting the RLS02 do so to ensure that we are able to submit on time. Next slide. The procurement plan, we didn't have any target for this quarter. On irregular expenditure, we have 1 report that has been compiled in that regard. The next slide. In Program 2, we had a total of 17 targets. We have managed to achieve 13 and 4 were not achieved. The next slide. We had set ourselves to submit a research project that has been completed. We had intended to conduct one knowledge sharing session. However, we did manage to conduct 10. We have been able to achieve this because we have moved on using the virtual to be able to conduct the sessions, and that has proven to be working very well. We have the 2 publications that we had intended to produce, and these have been done in Q3, and that it was actually much more dependent on the publishers because they are the ones who have got the number of publications that they have to do. So that is outside of our control as a department. We had planned to do it in Q2, but then we were only able to have those published in Q3. Next slide, please. In relation to MNE, based on the report that we continue to compile on the performance of the law enforcement agencies, just to remind that we only compile this report twice in a year, which is in Q2 and Q4, but the work continues to be done in other quarters in terms of collecting data. Therefore, in relation to unannounced visits, 348 were conducted and 137 of announced visits. We have also had 3 virtual meetings with IPIT and law enforcement agencies. In relation to the DVA compliance, we've conducted 137 assessments. On the service delivery complaints, we have received 109 public complaints, which have been also resolved. Next slide, please. On the national management tool, we are continuing to assist CSP to gather the data. And in this financial year, the focus of this tool is on the sexual offenses. And therefore, once this data collection has been finalized, this will be submitted to CSP, and the report will be compiled at the national level. In relation to the number of crime dockets analyzed and reported on, we had intended to do 350. We have now analyzed 586. That was because in the second quarter, we were not able to achieve the target that we had set ourselves. On the number of watching briefs, we had intended to have 5. We have not managed to attain that target. And that is purely because of the issues around the COVID regulations and accessibility also in the courts. The next slide, please. On safety promotion in relation to social crime prevention interventions activated, we had intended to conduct 71. We only managed to achieve 61. And we have developed an action plan to ensure that we achieve this. And there is progress to date on that specific indicator. On the number of safe and secure community interventions, which touches on your MASP, WASP, youth, and those interventions, we had targeted 160 and we managed to achieve 229. On the school safety interventions, we planned 188 and we were able to achieve 262, which then indicates 74 additional interventions conducted. On the number of GBV victims receiving support, we targeted 1,500. We managed to support 7,545, and this is an addition of 6,045 when we put it in relation to the target that we had set ourselves. This is also because we are continuing to put more effort in providing support to GBV victims. The next slide. Next slide. In relation to the victim empowerment centers, we have done 18 monitoring sessions for those, and we have now deferred the other target to the 5th quarter. But I must indicate that we continue to conduct the spot checks whenever we find it difficult for the full monitoring process to be undertaken. In relation to the percentage of received GBV closed dockets analyzed, we analyzed 100% of those. We had intended to roll out 9 green doors, but we continue to encounter challenge with the communities reluctant to avail the properties for the green doors. However, we are now looking at other alternatives on how this can actually be attended to. We have developed a catch-up plan, and we want to believe that we will make significant progress in this quarter. On the reports on the GBV cases tracked, we have managed to compile those reports. Next slide, please. On community police relations, we had set 72 assessments for the assessment of the community police forums. We managed to achieve 89, and this is actually assisting us much more in attaining our annual target that we have set ourselves. So additional 17 were conducted. On the community safety forums, we had targeted 7. We were unfortunately not able to achieve any on those, but we are currently working on that in this financial quarter, in this quarter rather. In relation to the community patroller teams, we had said 60, 82 were assessed, which is an additional 22 that have been assessed. Program 3, next slide, please. We had the target 10, and the program managed to achieve 100% of the set targets. In relation to the REC and NEC, we exceeded the target by 32 with a total of 1,782 achieved. In relation to speed operations, we have achieved 3,930, which is 1,290 additional. On operations conducted for driving under the influence of alcohol, we had set ourselves 300 and 628 were achieved. In relation to the pedestrian operations, 318 was the target for the quarter and 560 was achieved. Next slide, please. On compliance inspections of the DLTCs and VTCs, we had targeted 25 and we managed to achieve 47. I must indicate that this was also possible because of the recovery plan that we had developed for ourselves. On crime prevention, we had set 963 and 977 crime prevention operations were conducted with other law enforcement agencies. Next slide, please. On public transport inspectorate, we had set 1,200 for the public passengers transport law enforcement operations, where we target the driver and vehicle fitness and look at the operating license and the route compliance. 1,201 were achieved. On the learner transport, we had targeted 44, 91 was achieved. And on the vehicles weight, we had targeted 45,000 and 70,740 was achieved. I must indicate that this indicator is one that is a bit more difficult for us, where whenever you see, you'll be saying the performance it's above, or probably we are setting lower targets, but it is beyond our control because the number of vehicles passing the place is not controlled by us. On road safety promotion, we had targeted 412. And we have managed to achieve 444, and that leading to us exceeding by 32. On the number of schools, no targets were set, and that was based on challenges relating to resources in the department.
Thanks, I think we should stop there. This is not part of the legislature requirement. It's an internal part of the work that we do to track our progress towards the GGD 20 and SOPA priorities. Thanks, Chairperson. We'll stop there.
Thanks, HOD and MEC, for the presentation, and I will take hands from the members in terms of the presentation done to us. Can I note the hands? Is there any member who want to ask question? Point of clarification? Members, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you, Chair. We're just hoping that they will also provide us with the response to the questions we asked them.
Okay. Can they be flighted the information of the questions which have been asked to the department?
Thanks, Chairperson. Nana, please flight. I will take the committee through the questions. Thanks, Chairperson. The first question reads thus: the committee noted with concern that clear financial performance report was not submitted with the performance report. It further urges the department the same should not be repeated in future. The department knows the concern of the committee and will ensure that it is attended to going forward. We really apologize on that part, Chair. Second question is that the committee noted with concern the 17% vacancy rate of the department. The committee requests a progress report in terms of the filling of vacant posts. A chairperson and members, 146 positions have been created on PERSAL, and I think this is what created the 17% vacancy rate. We had received an allocation to absorb 133 traffic officers for this financial year, and our vacancy rate was manageable until we then created 146 positions on our structure. When we created the 146 positions, our vacancy rate shot to 17%. As a result, it looked like it was out of control, but in the third quarter, we worked on filling the vacancies, and we had put, at the end of the quarter, our vacancy rate had gone down. Next page. Next. Question number 3 reads thus: the committee noted that during the Premier's 2020 State of the Province, he indicated that he will provide the police with 100 high-performance vehicles fitted with cutting-edge crime-fighting technology, 50 additional cars, and 12 mobile police stations for public events in order to enhance police visibility in crime hotspots, highways, public spaces on a 24-hour basis. The committee noted that the department has procured 55 vehicles and 4 mobile stations. The committee therefore wants to know how much was spent to procure 55 vehicles as well as the mobile stations. Our response to question 3A is that the department spent 27,300,000 to procure the 55 vehicles. It will cost the department 5.4 million once we have paid to procure the mobile police stations. The service provider will convert the trucks into mobile police stations and has not been, I think, in the quarter under review, had not been appointed. However, the we estimated to convert is around 3.2 million. Next question. Question B, 3B. Please go down. Question 3B reads as, further, which police stations receive the mobile stations? Our response, the police stations have not been, the police stations have not received, or the mobile stations have not been delivered to the police stations of the province yet. There will be a discussion between the department and SAPS on which police stations will receive the mobile stations. But in general, the general principle, Chairperson, we are going to use is that we are going to identify areas where it is difficult for police to do visible policing, especially if as community would know that there are many informal settlements that are sprouting across the province, which are difficult to have to police with vehicles, or for the police to go into those areas. Those are the areas that we are thinking that we will use these mobile police stations in, so that people, and special communities, those that are farther from police stations, just to make it easy for those communities. That will be the general principle, but we have not yet identified specific areas where we are going to place them. Lastly, when will the remaining vehicles and mobile stations be procured? In 2021-22 and 2022-23, vehicles and mobile units will be procured. We have an allocation for the next 2 years. It was a 3-year allocation. With the first year is done, we have an allocation for the next 2 years to do mobile police stations and vehicles for SAPS. Question 4, during the second quarter performance report, the department reported that it submitted 2 publications that were not published due to backlog at the publishing company. The committee wants to know what the status of the publication is. Our response, the research unit submits articles to a journal for publication, and it then decides when it publishes it. One article titled "The Factors That Led to Delays of Inquest and Postmortems in Murder Cases in Gauteng Province" was published in the International Journal of Humanities and Social Sciences Intervention, Volume 9, Issue 10, in October 2020. I think the pages are noted there. Question 5. Move up a little bit. The committee further noted that the department, in its effort to bring services closer to the communities, the committee further noted that the department, in its efforts to bring services closer to communities, it participated in ward-based war rooms throughout the province. The committee requests a list of these war rooms. The department participated in the following war rooms. We've provided a list of the wards and the war rooms that we are participating in, but just in short, the GBV Brigades workshop and induction for all the regions and corridors was held on the 31st of October. So, and the list of the war rooms is provided in Ekurhuleni, in City of Tshwane. Can you move down? Those are the wards that we are participating in. Move down, please. City of Tshwane, City of Ekurhuleni, City of Johannesburg. Move again. Please move up a bit. No, please. Move up. Nana, please move up. I've not finished reading the whole question. No, question 5. Question 5. Okay. Move down. The last part of question 5. That's where I want to. Okay. Move down. Okay, the objective of our sitting in all the war rooms across the province is to assist in social mobilization. We also do public health and education awareness, screening and testing. We're assisting in that. We do door-to-door activities. We do social awareness and community education work, identification of service delivery challenges, compliance monitoring, enforcement of regulations, and frontline service delivery. That is the work that we do in all the war rooms that we participate in the province. Question 6. The committee noted that the department trained 24 Green Door ambassadors. The committee requests a list of the trained ambassadors in their location. Furthermore, the committee wants to know what type of training was given to the ambassadors and how much did the training cost. The list of the trained ambassadors, we've attached an Annexure 8, but the training was conducted by the department's team of qualified social workers, and the training focused on report writing, basic counseling, and customer care. The training aimed to enable the ambassadors to be able to receive the GBV, to receive and support GBV victims that have access to our services, to provide emotional containment. And we're not saying emotional really support, really emotional containment until a professional comes into the system to assist the victim. Question number 7. The committee noted that the department distributed car seats and other safety awareness materials during the quarter under review. The committee wants to know how many car seats were distributed, how much did the activity cost. The Health and Traffic Police did not distribute any car seats or safety awareness materials during this period. The question number 8, the committee requests a report on road fatalities of the quarter under review. Below is a summary of the trend analysis of quarter 3, but just in brief. While the reporting period was affected by a limited curfew at night, the trend unfortunately indicates a preliminary 4% increase in fatalities, except for at least 3 days of December 2020, where a revised level 3 was implemented with a complete alcohol sales ban. The overall period reflects an increase in fatalities, and these are the statistics during that period. I think that was the last question, Chairperson. Thank you very much. I hand back to the MEC.
Thank you very much, Chair and members. We shall await any follow-up questions. Thank you.
Thanks, MEC and the HOD. Members, those are the questions sent to the department, and those are the response. Can I get anyone who wants to ask any further questions and input or any point of clarifications? Members?
My hand is up, Chair.
Let me check. Comrade, honor members, Member Kanyile. Any other hand? Let me check first, Member Kanyile. Okay, over to you, Member Kanyile.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the presentation. Just two things. The first one, maybe it's just a comment. It doesn't need the department to respond. Chair, you'll note that on the research that is always done by the department, the publications and stuff, I think there was a time when we had a session with the department just to go through some of the findings that they've had. I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I can't remember. But I think as this committee, we might want to ask our information officer, Ms. Nechivuyu, maybe to be in touch with the department when they publish these papers and research findings, so that we can have access to them. We will find they are very, very invaluable, Chair, because of the topics that they normally cover. That's the first thing I want to raise. The second one, maybe it's a question directed to the MEC. You'll note that in the report, they are based on the questions we asked, they've outlined the war rooms that they are working with. I just want to find out if these war rooms, are they the same war rooms that the MEC spoke about in one of our meetings? She said they were going to be focusing on working with them. Number two, related to that, are they the ones that are linked to the COVID-19 strategy on community engagement? Thirdly, related to the war rooms, I just want to find out from the MEC if there's also working relation with ward committees. You know, in the ward committees, there are various sectors. One of the sectors is on safety. Are they in touch with those also at the ward level? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Kanyile. Any other one? In absence of that MEC and HAD?
Thank you very much, Chair, and fully appreciate the questions from Honorable Member Kanyile. The ward-based war rooms, Chair, is part and parcel of the work that we've been doing through the PCC, which is your Provincial Command Council. The original, if not as part of the 6 pillars that we are to adapt to since the dawn of COVID, because it has warranted the provincial government to realign its work in line with what is prevalent within our communities. So these ward-based war rooms are actually based at ward level. They are being convened, if not chaired, by the ward councillor, and they also account to the speakers in the municipalities. Indeed, how we structured them is that we have not established parallel structures to what is in existence within our wards, but we have plugged onto what exists within our wards, such that even our GPV brigades that are actually working at ward level, they are part and parcel, if not they work hand in hand with some of the colleagues there in the ward-based war rooms. We also have CPFs that are sitting in these ward-based war rooms. Of course, Member Kanyile, in a ward, there is a person who heads safety. We also do have we have established a relationship and working together with the sector crime forums. They are also linked to that, and it goes all the way up to your CPF level in that policing precinct. So indeed, Chairperson, these ward-based war rooms, their work is to check on compliance. In any ordinary ward, there is a lot of spaza shops. We have recently noticed that we've been checking these spaza shops and they actually are selling expired food to our people. Or where they are situated, it's a place that through the environmental design. It means it's a dark place. So as a result, people get marked when they try to go to spaza shops, maybe it's in the evening, or when they come back from spaza shops, there is long grass that a person has to walk through in order to access other places that may be inexistent within that ward, whether it's your clinic, your school, or your tuck shop, or your spaza shop, or any other available amenity that might be available within that community. So they make sure that they also input in ensuring that the local shops or the local facilities that exist within that ward, they actually comply with the COVID regulations, like your sanitization, social distance, and making sure that they also comply with the regulations that says at what time do they close. Well, luckily now the hours have actually been extended because now the curfew starts at 12 at night. So it means there's no longer a demand that people must be at home by 9 o'clock, but people are able to be outside their homes up until 12 o'clock at night. Those are my inputs, Madam Chair, to say we are indeed working hand in glove. We have not established parallel structures to what exists within communities. We are part and parcel of these ward-based rooms. Thank you very much. Sipo, you can answer the ones. I think Member Kanyile, I think they need to consider if all these published articles, can they also have access to them? I guess Member Kanyile is studying thesis. Maybe he wants more information. Thank you very much.
Thanks, MEC. I think the question is noted. In fact, the comment is noted. We'll make contact, I think, with the colleague from the legislature who works with Member Kanyile, and we'll make sure that they have access to our articles. Thanks. I think the rest MEC has answered.
Thanks, MEC and
just a point of order.
Okay, Member Kanyile.
Yeah, no, I don't want them for myself, the articles, Chair. I said there was a time when, as a committee, would call the department, they would present their findings or what is contained in those. I think we had the meeting in that casino in Gold Reef City, and it was very important. I mean, it was very helpful. So I'm saying they can be shared with the members of the committee. I didn't. For now, I'm not doing a thesis on community safety. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, Member Kanyile, for the clarification. Maybe the MEC is encouraging us to look at the topic which are related to community safety, so that we should start writing. MEC, thanks for clarifying the issue of the whole room, base whole room, and that is not a parallel. And also, we are appreciating the response which we got from the Office of the HOD under your supervision. Thanks for presenting MEC and HOD and the team. You are released. See you next time.
Thank you very much, Chair, and have a wonderful afternoon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Right, Madam Speaker.
Can we move to members? Can we move to Resolution 7?
We do not have any resolutions, Chairperson.
No resolution. 8 and NCOP matters?
None, Chair.
Correspondence?
We have not received any, Chair.
Okay, thanks, Tabile. Members who are in other matters? Is there any matter which the member want to discuss?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Okay, is it Member Hoffman?
It is I, ma'am.
Yes, you can proceed.
After Member Hoffman.
After Member Hoffman, Member Kanyile. Member Hoffman.
Madam Chair, I think Member Kahile already wants to second my proposal, so we'll take up his my proposal with his second. Okay, Madam Chair, this last week the two days back, there was a brutal farm attack in the Camille Drift, Pretoria North area, and where the farmer was actually tied up to his vehicle. The photos were sent to me the evening of this attack, and would I like to propose that we as a committee look at the prominent stations where these attacks takes place, where we know that Camille Drift, Mulders Drift, and a few other stations and areas in Gauteng is under siege by attacks. Last night there was again 2 attacks where also some of the farm workers were attacked and brutalized. I think if you look at the sheer brutality of these attacks, you know, it is problematic and can easily escalate into something that's much worse than we can ever anticipate. My proposal would be, Madam Chair, if we can maybe look at those stations where these farm attacks takes place, if we can strengthen the rural safety plan at that stations, maybe also look at the investigating officers at that stations to give them more resources. You'll note out of a previous media statement I've done, it was on last year, we had about 400 and something attacks, and there was only 3 arrests made with regards to those attacks. Madam Chair, this is one of those things that I really feel that we have to look at, and we have to look at it very seriously. You know, I think that there's a lot of scars and a lot of pain that is left with families of these victims, and you know that the trauma and the brutality of these attacks are immense and totally not in line with a robbery or common crime. So I would really ask the committee that we look at these burning stations, hotspot stations for farm attacks, and as a matter of urgency that we see if we can help or empower the members at those stations to help them as well. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thanks, Member Hoffman. That is a proposal, members, that we need to check the hotspot stations for farm attack and strengthen their rural safety plan and also their investigation. Can we take the one Member Kanyile? Member Kanyile?
Yes, Chair. Let me just maybe make the point I wanted to make was that I realized that we didn't deal with the minutes. So I was just saying, you're saying other matters. I just wanted to remind you that it looks like we haven't dealt with the minutes. That was what I wanted to say, Chair. There was nothing else. Maybe at the time when we have a discussion on the rural safety or farm attacks, I will make my comments there, Chair. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, Member Kanyile. I thought that we have dealt with the minutes. Thanks for that. Members, can we go to number 4, adoption of the previous minutes dated Thursday, the 4th of March, 2021. Members, I'm presenting the minutes of the meeting for adoption. Before that, can we check if there is any correction with regard to the minutes?
I move to adopt, Madam Chair.
Is Member Hoffman move?
I second, Chair.
Member Hoffman move for the adoption and Member Kanyile second for the adoption. Thanks. Any matters arising?
Madam Chair, can we just get a resolution on my proposal, please? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, we'll come to that. Any matter? Members, there is no any matter arising from the minutes? Can we go to the matter with regard to which Member Hoffman have raised with regard to the hotspot station on the farm workers? Can we discuss and come with the resolution, members? Member Kanyile, you said that you will raise whatever you want to raise after the minutes have been adopted. Members?
I can still hear you, Madam Chair.
I don't hear you, Member Hoffman.
I'm just saying, Chair, that I can still hear you.
Okay.
Yes, Chair, my hand is up to support Member Hoffman, but perhaps Member Kanyile wanted to do the same thing allegedly, although I'm not sure if Hoffman mentioned that in jest or not, Chairperson. But I do think it's very important for us to show that we do care about all of the people of our province. You know, that we go to MAMELODI to fight gangsterism, and we go to areas affecting farmers and farm workers as well. You know, I think it's very important. We are, at the end of the day, we are the Gauteng Provincial Community Safety Committee. And I think it's very important that all of the people of Gauteng know that we're out there to keep them safe. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Shekelton. Member Kanyile?
Yeah, Chair, I think there are two issues here. If I listen to Member Hoffman, the first one, he says we must have a way in which we focus on those police stations. And then the second thing he's raising is that we need to look at our rural safety, at the rural safety. I'm Zulu, so the R's are difficult. If I say rural, don't be angry with me. At the rural safety strategy. If that's what Member Hoffman is suggesting, that we look at it like that, then it's fine. But if the suggestion is that we must go to those police stations now, I would suggest that if we want to be effective, we must know what we are going to do there. So we need to be clear on, so that we don't just go there, then we come out, we've got different objectives and everything. But for us to be able to know that, let me give you a practical example, Honorable Chair. If you are to argue about the work that must be done, and I think Member Hoffman is making an example that we must give them resources. There could be a big discussion as to whether we've got capacity to do that, because remember, SAPS are not our competency. There's competency of national. But we have some competencies that we can be able to utilize, which is Metro Police, which is Gauteng Traffic Police. So I'm saying we need to be able to engage in that discussion. I know the matter that could arise is no. But the Premier recently gave SAPS some cars. Unless you engage with that properly, whether that was Gauteng provincial government money or was it donation. So those are things we'll have to discuss. So the point I'm making, Chair, is maybe let's, if it's okay in the next meeting, we have a discussion as to what we exactly want to see happening and who can do what. When we've got that, then we go to those areas with a clear plan on what we want to see them happening. Otherwise, we'll just go there, listen and see things are happening, and then I'll come with my own suggestion and somebody's, then it finds it doesn't work. That will be my suggestion. I agree with the need to focus, but I'm saying that we need to structure our approach so that it's effective. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Member Kanyile. In other words, Member Kanyile and Member Shackleton, they are supporting what a Member Hoffman is saying. But it further says that we need to have a discussion on what we want to see it happening in those particularly police stations. We should not just go for the sake of visit. Our visits should be effective. And we need to have a further discussion in the coming meeting. I think from my own perspective, I might be wrong. I think if the subs have the strategy on how to handle issues of gangsterism, part of their strategy, it includes even the strategy on assisting the farm workers, the farmers, in terms of the issues which are affecting them in their areas. So we are supporting that. We are agreeing that we are supporting it, and we need to have a further discussion on what will be happening, and also have the rural safety plan, which need to be presented to us by SAP. Am I right? Am I summarizing it correctly, members?
Madam Chair, if I may.
I don't hear you, Member Hoffman.
Can I proceed, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we've got consensus. I agree with that. I have no problem with Member Kaile or your what you are saying. I do think that it's a matter of urgency. I do think that the committee can use some or utilize some resources, maybe just to help us to identify these hotspot areas where farm attacks are taking place. From my side, I will also be able to assist the committee with these police stations to identify. I do think that we have an oversight role to play. The Premier and the Police Commissioner and even Mr. Sele at one stage said that they take rural safety seriously with regards to farmers and farm workers. And I think that where I have visited these police stations, I have seen that the rural safety vehicles are falling apart, and that you know, they are not strengthened as what was promised. And that is something that I would like to see, that we do oversight on these stations, on these rural safety plans, and then you know, make a proposal to the SAPS or from this committee side to say, listen, we have identified these hotspots. Can we firstly take them and analyze and see what we should do, and what abilities the Gauteng Department of Safety also had to empower these specific police stations. So that's my submission. Thank you, Chair. Thank you for my colleagues and the honourable members for supporting it. I do think that you know, it is important, as Member Shackleton rightly said, that we have to support all communities within Gauteng. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Hoffman. Members, can we move to number 11, date of the next meeting and adjournment? Members, our next meeting will be on the 18th of March at 15 hours.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Tabile.
Sorry, Chair, I made a mistake. It's actually the 19th of March, because the 18th, Chairperson Kanyile indicated that Gopa is going to sit the whole day. So it's actually the 19th. I'm sorry, on your notes, I made a mistake there.
Okay, thanks. Sorry, okay, accepted. Members, the next meeting is on the 19th of March at 15 hours, where we are going to consider the draft committee oversight report on both the Department of Community Safety Annual Report 2019-2020 and the third quarter report of the 2020-21 financial year. Then, honorable members, please be informed that due to time constraint, the safety webinar, which were supposed to be held, has been postponed to the next term. Members will be notified on the date as soon as the register program has been made available. Thanks for attending and for your patience, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Baie dankie, mevrou voorsitter.
Thank you, meneer. Waar is die boekies, meneer Socks?
Ah, next nie, maar kan nie klaar nie.
Okay.
Dis salam.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. Bye.
Bye.